Okay, hey there guys. So in this war we're up against SSX, which is Savage Squad. There's a couple people I actually knew on the other side for this war. I haven't faced this alliance in a couple seasons, I think, so it was cool getting to see some of them, talk to them in some chats and stuff, right? This guy was actually talking in a chat with him a lot that day. It was a lot of fun. Um, an important note is this is the third war of the season. I've just been really busy, and so I haven't been posting really. And so I'm a bit behind on the wars, and I decided I'll just go backwards for the wars because the most current war is always the most fun one to see. And here I go very dumb mode here. So I tried to make it so I'd get the shocks, and I don't know if it was a lag spike in game or what happened, but it ended up happening where Pryde was able to get back and block my SP2 as Nimrod, so I was doing very little damage. So I didn't do as much damage as I should, but with the Fury and the shocks that I'm applying through removing prowess, I'm still doing a fair bit of damage. Right here, I actually get in a little bit of a sticky situation because of the note of heavy hitter. She's just throwing her heavies. I just need to hit her block, or honestly throw a special period. If I threw any special, it was kind of just going to kill her, and this SP2 does 50% of her health, and I didn't have the Fury for 3 of the 4 hits. 50% of a health pool with 60% damage reduction. I just don't get Nimrod, man, it's so crazy. So here we have Power Snack, Ebony Maw. So you have to remember with most, I wanted to put this on in case if I was like Mystic Dispersioning and I was being dumb and he got to an SP3, I wanted to be able to survive it, just in case. I probably didn't need to, like a regen boost or something, probably would have been better, honestly. So I had a ton of pre-fights here. It's 4 pre-fights, a whole Mr. Fantastic set, and a Horseman. So an important thing to note is with Power Snack, you typically, when it nullifies the buff off of you, if the defender has a nullification-based ability like Doom's Shock or Ebony Maw's Degen, it will trigger off of that nullify. Pardon me. And so that's part of what makes them such annoying defenders on nodes like this. And right here I was having, it almost got pretty bad. He almost got up to that SP3, but he didn't, and he was actually being fairly cooperative with throwing a medium light, allowing me to actually hit him, which was really nice because sometimes he can be an absolute pain and just never throw it. Here I use the SP1 to make sure I refresh all of my debuffs and try to get some of the poisons on him. After his heavy, you'll kind of whiff the first hit if you don't use a light to get closer, but your second 2 hits should connect, and I still had the invul on, I think, so it was kind of fine. I don't take that Korg. In theory, I guess you could doom it, but like there's no real reason. We have a guy who's really good at taking dooms, and I wouldn't have been able to get to my fights even if I stole it. So here in section 2, I'm over to path 8 now, and I'm going to take both the fights. I don't need backup this time. But I needed a invul boost for a fight for comfort. I wanted just to like make sure I would have the actual, like, just in case, because I hadn't taken the fight and I wasn't sure if like there was going to be more power or something that would go wrong, so I wanted to play it extra safe. This Mojo is not too bad of a fight though. This Mojo really not too bad here because Mojo himself doesn't gain buffs really except for Dex, I guess. So Rich Get Richer isn't really an issue. I guess the plan is that the armor you get from the parry, you take a hit from his special 1 and he nullifies it. That's what I assume the thing is there. Right there, that was really dumb by me. I missed the parry, and then like 2 hits into the heavy, I'll sometimes chain the SP1 in, and he was able to actually parry it, which is really weird. But he's absolutely just getting wrecked here, 10k a second. So I just had to wait. I just had to delay it out just a little bit longer, and I'm at 97% health. So I was actually trying to decide if I was gonna like use a small potion after this, and I'm just like, will I really need the potion? So part of the reason I needed the invulnerability boost is this fight has the standard Rich Get Richer. Archangel doesn't himself get any buffs, but Fury in his second phase will get his Fury. So anytime I don't have the dexterity buff on me and he has his Fury in second life, he will be gaining power that whole time. So I needed the invul in case of that, and so I thought might as well have it on for Mojo as well. I think I'm able to carry it into all 3 fights in my section 2, which is quite nice. Right here, I wanted to try to just be able to, like, do it where you can kind of chain your heavy into his second life and get some neurotoxins going. I can just never get the timing right, since I've, like, for a while now, I've just never had the right, like, timing where he's, like, throwing where I can heavy while it's ending. I don't know. But really, I just need a bit of RNG here, and yeah, I get a neurotoxin, 4 bleeds, 2 poisons. That's way more than enough, and I can just eat this on the block, and he just dies. So this fight's actually pretty interesting. I wonder how Archangel would do for this, but this is the reason I brought Doom. Archangel takes most of my fights, and then Doom and Nimrod were for very specific fights. Because of kinetic transference, and yeah, I think it's just kinetic transference, I wanted to have the invulnerability because her specials can also be unblockable. I didn't want her to throw her heavy there because she gets the glancing buff, but at the same time, she also gains 5 regens per combo you do. So I'm really just hitting her just to build up my Mystic Dispersion. And I'm just like, oh, well, I'm at my SP3 already. And so now I'm building the regens here, and so she gets that power gain there. So now she has 4 regens, I think it was, and a power gain buff. So when I come out, I'm going to be able to nullify 5 buffs with Doom, which is very good. But at the same time, there's actually also a bit of an issue with it, which is indestructible SP when you reach SP2, and this did the first hit was so those first 3 hits were able to do so much that it took off 30% of her health, I think, 40% of her health, I think, and the 2 biggest hits didn't even connect when, like, with damage because of the glancing. It was a little bit mistimed on my part. Maybe I should have just gone for the SP3 right there. I just wanted to wait for the glancing to end, and this SP3 I believe wraps up the fight here. Wasn't too scary of a fight, but I wasn't sure how it would go. She threw a heavy a little bit more, got that glancing buff more than I would have liked to, but pretty straightforward fight with Doom. There's just a lot of buffs there. Really, any Mystic just shreds her on basically every single node in this game. Just like Symbiote Supreme and stuff. Like, if you've seen those fights, it's absolutely crazy what she does. So this is that same Super Skrull I fought. I think I haven't posted it, but I fought him all 3 wars in the first week, I believe. It's a really, really common placement right now. It can actually be tricky. There's if you play it slightly wrong and he has like a bunch of armor up buffs and then he throws his SP2 into your block, it can do like 50% of your health if he has a prowess on him. It can actually get a little bit scary if you mismanage certain things, or because of the global have bad RNG with the armor going unstoppable. Here, fortunately, I'm able to get my neurotoxins pretty quick. This is a really good fight RNG-wise for me. He only gets that armor unstoppable right there. I'm not really triggering the prowess very much, so he's not getting the block puncture. I have a fair few neurotoxins going. I have a fair few poisons. I have the ability accuracy reduction, so there's no falter, and he's just dying super fast. Right? It's a 40-second fight, I believe. That should be where it ends. Oh, it's like a 36-second fight. So this war was it ended closer than it should have, but for like the longest time they were at 10 deaths and we were at like 1 for most of the war. I think most of our deaths came fairly late, and I think it was just people getting lazy. It's something that we've been doing a little bit too much this season, I think, but yeah, it's okay. We're still winning. Fight time was a lot better, had less deaths. It was a great war by us. SSX played very well. 10 deaths is not like anything bad. Right, we went up to 6. Like, it's pretty close. So it was a good job to them. Great war. It was a lot of fun getting to play some of the guys that we did. Always fun to see some familiar faces. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.